good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We are glad to have you here with us through Zoom meeting room and also through YouTube streaming. We are very sorry for some inconvenience. We have some technical problems, but hopefully it's already fixed by the team. Thank you also for the team. This virtual meeting is held by a collaboration from Peace Generation and Initiative of Change, or IOC, to commemorate the International Day of Peace, 21st of September. Hopefully, through this event, we can share and connect with each other, with agent of peace and change maker, especially in this time of crisis. Well, this is our second day, and we have a specific topic about family, how peace and reconciliation start from our home. Our speakers today have been working with family reconciliation area.
Ini belum bisa kita.
Belum bisa.
Belum connect ke YouTube. Fadlan.
Ternyata berubah. Coba dikirim lagi ke peserta.
Berubah ya? Oke.
Iya.
Kirimnya apa? Oh, ini.
Hayo tolong dibantu share linknya ke grup peserta.
Udah. Tunggu, I will send to teacher the new link. Teacher, I have sent the new link, teacher. Bisa nggak kalau udah mau mulai nanti Fadlan hitung gitu?
Gimana?
Bisa nggak kalau udah mau mulai online gitu, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 gitu?
Oke, nanti.
Udah bisa, udah dicek belum YouTube-nya Fadlan?
Sudah ada penonton 13.
Oke, dihitung Fadlan.
Oke. Kita mulai ya. 1, 2, 3. Oke.
Hello everyone, welcome to Bandung Peace Week. I'm Rini Meir. I will be your host for the webinar today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We are glad to have you here with us through Zoom meeting room and also through YouTube streaming. We are very sorry for the inconvenience and for the late. Hopefully, our team has fixed the problem and so we can have this program run well. So this virtual meeting is held by a collaboration of Peace Generation and Initiative of Change, or IOC, to commemorate the International Day of Peace, 21st of September. Hopefully through this event, we can share and connect with people who are working as agent of peace and change maker everywhere, especially through this time of crisis. So our second day today is our second day, and our topic today will be specific about family, how peace and reconciliation should start from home. Our speakers today have been working in family reconciliation area for years. So please be ready to learn from their experiences and sharings. After they have finished their presentations. We will have our question and answer sessions. So please write down your questions on the chat box for those who are in Zoom meeting room, and also for those who watch from YouTube streaming. Please write down your questions on the comment box. Our team will forward the questions to us. Okay, without further ado, let's start our webinar. And let's start with our first speaker. I will introduce you our first speaker. I call her Teh Nenden. Her full name is Nenden Vina Mutiara Ulfa from Indonesia. She is a mom with one son. So when she realized that there was something wrong in her life, she fought for healing and reconciliation. With all of her experiences of healing, she is called to share more to people. Then she started the work of School of Reconciliation, which has been held in 4 cities in Indonesia.
Kamer nggak ada suaranya.
Well, in weekdays, to spread peace. So, let's welcome Teh Nenden. Please unmute the mic and take your time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mayor. So I'm glad today we have Teacher Nandors, Baba Duha, and all of you there in the YouTube. So I'm Nenden from Indonesia. Just like what Mayor said, everyone call me Teh Nenden, or like my YouTube channel and Instagram, you can call me Che Enden. Please subscribe and follow my Instagram and my YouTube channel. I'm the initiator of School of Reconciliation. I'm also the CEO of Media Damai Indonesia. I work professionally to making video and promote for peace, and also for others who needed the material for promoting something positive through media creative. So after working, I still have energy to really work with people in the grassroots. I mean, the School of Reconciliation is not formal education. It's like halu school in Indonesia. It's the imaginary school. It's not formal school, but is the support system and the community, the place and the space for people who really want to growing in their life. So School of Reconciliation applies to people to be their self, to find their purpose, and to be growing together. Why I established the School of Reconciliation? Long time ago, few years ago, I realized I come from the dysfunction family and I have a lot of problem. And then I'm growing with the anger inside me, and I don't have friends. I'm so lonely, a lot of conflict around me. And then I think it's not comfortable. I'm not happy. I just think I know the life is very matter. The life is very important. So I have to looking for the answer. My question, why I'm living without peace and happiness. So through IFC, I know and I did my practice to reflect myself, what happened in my life. So I found something very interesting. So the anger inside me is come from the anger to my parents, to my life, and to myself. Because my family is dysfunction, my parent is divorced and creating a lot of problem and very traumatic. So I think I have to fix it, and I want to continue my life peacefully. I learned in IFC, and I met my guru, teacher Nandor, and I think I already learned a lot, and I think I already reconciliate with my family, especially with my mom. But then last year, I just realized I'm still in my anger. I'm still anger inside me, but it's different anger. I mean, I forgive my mothers, but the anger is still here. So I still feel uncomfortable. I have feeling guilty when I work and I'm leave my son and then many things. So my teacher said, you have to forgive your mom without explaining. It's so interesting because I feel I already forgive my mom, my life and my past. But what kind of forgiveness? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am not yet understand about the idea of forgiveness, what my guru said. So I reflect, I did my quiet time. I really have connection with myself, with my God. I'm questioning what the meaning of forgiveness. What kind of forgiveness? What kind of forgiveness? I know I don't I'm not really practice it. So I find the forgiveness is has to be together with true love. Okay, the forgiveness without explaining. I found before I forgive my mom with explaining. Okay, I forgive my mom because I know my mom is blah 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 blah. It didn't work. The anger is still here. So I'm trying to finding the meaning of the forgiveness and true love. So this formula is very interesting. That's why I want to share today with you guys. So I forgive my mom with true love, the love unconditionally. I just forgive my mom without explaining. So I forgive my mom just the way she is. What she is did, what she's doing to me, and many things happen. I just forgive without reason, without explaining. So after that, the the life is changed, and I understand what is the true love. The true love is when we love something, when we love somebody, we just love them, and then we give opportunity to their growing. We are also caring about their life. So the true love is not uh, stick to something, not to addict, not to control. The true love is just to love, and we also caring to their growing. So I forgive my mom, and I said, I forgive you just the way you are. Whatever we have in our past, in our life, just it has to be happen and have the good reason from God. So I learned more about what is the forgiving, forgiveness, and the true love. And I know another word is catexis. Catexis. I just realized. Yes, he is my son. So I just realized I did my catexis to my people around me. The love I give to them is just I want to be loved. I want the people following me. I want the people love me, and I want to others, my follower, my people, just like me. And I don't care about their growing. I just want to their like me, like Nenden. So it's wrong. It's catexis. So with this idea, I really happy because I know how to forgive my mom, how to forgive myself, and how to forgive the people who hurt me. So through this journey for many years in School of Reconciliation, I'm not I'm not have the title in the good university, master or PhD or many things. But I believe what I'm doing what I'm practicing in my life is very important, and I want to give the inspiration for others to what? To give a hope for people and humanity. Even we are come from the dysfunction family, we can fix it if you want, like me. So and I'm so grateful School of Reconciliation, now we have a lot of students and also acknowledgement from the people in the university, the researchers, the professor, the doctor. So I would like to share to you about the last video, our activity, our Jelajah Negeri. We are going to the Central Java with all the student School of Reconciliation. We reconstruction our memory, because we know we have a lot of bad memory in our life, but we want also to creating another good memory in our life. So we met with doctor and we have facilitating from the Nurhuda Ismail, who really passionate about the growth and the masculinity and family issue. So we very proud of the School of Reconciliation, and we will welcome for who you are, wants to growing and have the many support system to growing with us. Let's join. And this is the video.
Ini sudah aroma masakan loh, Mbak. Sudah bau aroma masakan. Ada matengan, terus langsung siap-siap ke warung. Tapi kalau ada yang beli di rumah ya dilayak.
Warung banget kayak bukan jadah itu lauknya tempe.
Perjalanan dulu bisa berapa kali udah ke toilet dari Jakarta, udah berapa duit masuk ke kota amal. Monggo ditanggapi. Mungkin saya terus terang berharap ini bisa kita lakukan lanjut lagi. Jadi kita sudah punya program, kemarin saya sempat share ya ke Zoom itu beberapa tema. Intinya kita mulai dari keluarga dulu, dan terutama dari laki-lakinya, dari sebagai bapak, sebagai anak laki-laki, sebagai ayah, sebagai kakek gitu ya. Dan itu artinya bukan kita fokus ke laki-laki saja, karena ibu, anak itu juga terlibat dalam membentuk seorang ayah menjadi dirinya gitu ya. Yang mereka tahu, jalan mereka harus lempeng. Kalau nggak lempeng ya solusi yang mereka tahu adalah kekerasan gitu. Dan dalam hal itu kalau saya pribadi memahaminya dari ilmu yang saya pelajari, sebenarnya mereka bukan pelaku yang secara kultural itu menyengajakan diri, tapi mereka korban dari norma-norma, dari nilai yang mereka dididik untuk seperti itu. Saya pribadi adalah proyek gagal dari ayah saya. Untungnya nggak lari ke jalanan, ke peredaran narkoba.
Saya juga tadi karena Bapak juga cerita sebegitu dalamnya gitu, mengakui bahwa saya produk gagal dari keluarga, saya juga salah satu dari itu, dan itu menjadi energi buat saya. Kenapa saya mendirikan SR ini gitu. Perjalanan kami di SR salah satunya kita dokumentasikan bagaimana kita berkonfrontasi dengan luka-luka itu. Makanya judulnya Butterfly Actually, cerita transformasi para peacemaker. Dan ini ada buku refleksi dari proses lama di Sekoci ditulis oleh Baba Duha. Dan ini mungkin bisa Bapak baca bagaimana perjuangan kita itu.
Tinggal saya belajar dari supir akap.
Thank you, Haya. Maybe Kak Mer can help to explain what happened in this conversation with Dr. Rahmat.
Thank you, Teh Nenen, for the amazing sharing. I will conclude some points from Teh Nenen's sharing in Bahasa Indonesia, and also I will conclude the points in in video in English. Okay, so from Teh Nenen's sharing, dari sharing Teh Nenen kita belajar beberapa poin. Yang pertama adalah emosi-emosi marah yang mungkin kita ekspresikan pada orang lain, pada orang-orang di sekitar kita, bisa jadi berasal dari emosi marah kita pada keluarga, pada orang-orang di dalam keluarga, pada orang tua kita. Dan dalam cerita ini adalah emosi Teh Nenden terhadap mamanya. Dan dengan memaafkan setulusnya, memaafkan tanpa perlu menjelaskan, dan melalui refleksi, berkoneksi, terkoneksi dengan diri dan dengan Tuhannya, maka Teh Nenden bisa menemukan bagaimana tepatnya memaafkan yang sesungguhnya. Dia juga menemukan bahwa ada perbedaan yang jelas antara cinta sejati dan kateksis. Kateksis itu adalah cinta yang menginginkan orang mengikuti saya saja. Orang fokus kepada apa yang saya inginkan. Dan saya tidak fokus terhadap peduli untuk pertumbuhan mereka. Sedangkan cinta sejati itu adalah cinta yang tidak menyebabkan candu. Cinta yang tidak fokus pada diri sendiri, tetapi fokus pada pertumbuhan orang lain. And lalu dari video, from the video, we discuss that father is also an aggressive father is also a victim of from his origin family. And what Teh Nenden shared there, that her past, what happened in her past, is also an energy to help her to grow, to transform, and to build a better environment. So this is what her sharing, and let's take few seconds to appreciate, few seconds for silence to appreciate the sharing of Teh Nenden. Okay, now let's move to our second speaker. Our second speaker, we call him Baba Duha because his children call him Baba. As a father of two children, he believes in the change should start from home. And he is the author of two books, Falsafah Keluarga and Parenting. He is one of the trainers at Sekolah Rekonsiliasi. Okay, now let's welcome Baba. Please unmute the mic and the time is yours.
Thank you, Kak Matt. Thank you so much for giving me time to share in this sessions. Hello everyone, good morning. In this sessions, I would like to share for you about first, from where do we learn to build a relationship? I believe that the way we deal with situations, any kind of situations, is largely determined by two things. Number one.
Sorry, the speaker is something kresek-kresek, Mbak.
Oh, okay.
Mungkin nggak usah pakai headset.
Can you hear me? Halo? Halo?
It's still, Baba.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah.
It's still not
Let
working.
me. Yes.
We still cannot
Halo?
hear you.
Oh, okay.
Nggak usah pakai headset.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Hello? Okay. Let me continue. The way we deal with situations, any kind of situations, is largely determined by two things. One, the ability of our brains to process information. This ability is largely determined by genes, which is been given by our parents. So our parents give us these genes. And the second, it determines by bad experiences in the past. So mostly or even all of our bad experiences in the past are closely related to parenting. Again, so both genes and bad experiences are closely related to our parents. In conclusion, both parents is our intermediary for us to live. That 60 until 70% of births are unwanted. So mostly us here are unwanted child. So these babies, including us, are prone to being unloved. Eventually, when we are unloved, then we will have a hard time to loving ourselves, including loving others. So any baby who is unloved will carry the toxic shame that he or she will carry until adulthood. This shame will form the basis of his relationship with other, all kind of relationship, romantic love, working in the office, and then when become parents with children, and then with neighbor, between race to race, nation to nation, and any other relationship. From this belief, then I believe that peace in the world should start from family. And this belief give me motivations to be a facilitator or trainer in Sekolah Cinta, School of Love, and Sekolah Pasangan, Spouse Love, and also Sekolah Orang Tua, Parents School or Parenting School. Then from this experience from training with teacher Nandor and also become a trainer itself, then I write my experience, thoughts in articles and also book like Falsafah Keluarga, the philosophy of family, and also parenting yang terlewat dari parenting. or what we are missing in parenting. And the next book is about love. That's my thought and my experience that I can share to you. Thank you, Kamer. That's from me.
Sekarang Kak Mer yang nggak ada suaranya.
Thank you, Baba. Ada suara? Halo?
Ada.
Okay. Thank you for the sharing. Short but meaningful. I will conclude some points in Bahasa Indonesia. Ada dua cara bagaimana kita menghadapi, ada dua hal yang mempengaruhi kita bagaimana menghadapi situasi. Yang pertama adalah kemampuan otak kita memproses informasi, dan yang kedua adalah pengalaman-pengalaman buruk ataupun baik ya di masa lalu. Nah, salah satu poin yang lain yang dijelaskan adalah 60-70% dari kita itu lahir, tidak semua ya, kebanyakan lahir tidak diinginkan. Dan ketika kita tidak diinginkan atau tidak diinginkan oleh orang tua, maka kita akan jadi sulit untuk mengasihi diri kita, begitu juga mengasihi orang lain. Nah, kesulitan ini sangat mempengaruhi bagaimana kita berhubungan dengan sekeliling kita, dengan tetangga, dengan hubungan romantis kita, pekerjaan kita, bahkan ini akan mempengaruhi perilaku berhubungan satu bangsa. Oleh karena itu, damai itu harus dimulai dari keluarga. Okay, let's take few seconds of silence to appreciate the sharing of Baba Duha. Thank you. Okay, right now, I want to add some things. We believe that peace and reconciliation should start from ourselves. So far, we agree with this, right? With these two speakers. And this value needs to be spread around Indonesia. We have to take some efforts to do this with our own capacity. Right now, we have video to show you to fundraise friends by taking part to buy these products. You have helped us to spread the peace value and also to support small micro medium enterprises, or we call it in Indonesia UMKM. Please, operator. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining the movement, and thank you for supporting us. Now let's move to our third speaker. We call him Teacher Nandor. His full name is Nandor Lim. He's from Malaysia. Teacher Nandor Lim is a very passionate and commitment person. He initiated Akasa Learning Association of Malaysia. He helped so many people in Malaysia, especially for Chinese community. He is so connected to IFC Indonesia team that he supports School of Reconciliation team. Now, let's welcome Teacher Nandor. Please unmute the mic and the time is yours, teacher.
Thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon, everyone, and good morning, and also good evening for some others. It is very privileged that for me to have a chance to speak together with my two beloved students, Nandan and Duha. It is not easy that the teachers and the students speak together on the same topic. But I'm very value about this topic, that when we have a chance to talk about the family in the peace. Well, as Rini introduced me, that I am the initiator of Akasha Learning Companionship Association of Malaysia, also a full-timer for the voluntary full-timer work for this association, as well as the gardener. And I'm a husband for a wife, and she is Winnie, and also a father of a 14 years old son. And there's a lot of people call me teacher, but I'm not trained by academic as a teacher. I am a trainer of life and the family through the training from life that I have been living so far. And I think people call me teacher because I used to work in a secondary school as a school teacher. And by simple, they just call me teacher. Teacher means to me is a value, and also is a very important that I do share responsibility for those people who call me teacher, and I care for them. Well, to the topic for today, when we talk about family in peace and reconciliation, start from home. The peace, family in peace and reconciliation, that was begins from the very old time, for my experience when I first learned what is peace. I chased for peace for a long time when I was in a younger age. That's because I didn't have peace in mind. I have a lot of chaos. I live in a chaos. I'm not living in a peaceful mind. So, because I'm not in the peaceful mind, I destruct the life in my past. Instead of having a constructive life, my life is more related to destructive. Then I became the problem of the society. I create a lot of unhappiness for myself. I don't have a good friendship. I didn't play my role and work properly in my working area. I didn't have a good relationship with some others, girlfriends and other friends, So I became part of the problem of the society, but I didn't know how to make it correct. And then I have a chance to meet a group of people, and they talk about change. I learn about what is the change in initiative of change, and then slowly I want to be the solution, and that has to be start from myself. But the process is very strange for me, that I want to be the change, but I do not know where to start. And throughout some sessions, and also some conversation, and also some training program, then I had a long reflection, and I came back to a solution, came back to a realization that before knowing what is the change that I need to be in my life, I first have to own the problem. If I'm not owning the problem, then I won't have a chance to take my first step to be the change. Then I have to understand what had made me become the person I am at that moment. Then I reflect on how I was. I was a very anger, very irresponsible, and a person who always run away from my responsibility. Well, if I took this is all my problems, then I have to first confess to myself that I need to fix it. And then that began my process, that how I enter to the learning to know who I am in my life. I am a Chinese, Chinese origin, but I was born in Malaysia. So by nationalities, I'm a Malaysian. And the host Rini explained me that I have giving a lot of service in the Chinese community. Yes, because I am a Chinese, then I hope that with all the service that I'm giving to my people, and also I hope this idea can also share with others, because for what I have discovered, that the family issues is a borderless issue. It is not just happen in the Chinese family and also Chinese life, but it happens in all different kinds of human being life. It regardless the colors, the religions, the civilizations, the countries, and also the different generations, because we all come from a family. Even a victim of orphanage, they also come from a family. But the family, we have the other way to call them, is a broken family. And that is how I discovered in my life that because I came from a broken family, that my parent divorced when I was 15. And I used to blame them because of this separation that gave me a very, very bad life in my younger age and also in my school age. And and that also influenced that how I want to get married. And with all this, then I rather not to take risk on having a family or to get married, because I knew that if I do the same thing, it will repeat again and it happened into my life. I didn't have a very happy life in my family of origin, and I don't want to create a new family and bring unhappiness to them. So that was a thought that I have. And I did show my jealousy to those people who has family, and also to those people who has a good life, and then they can share good thing into with their partners and with their families. I do jealous on them, but I didn't take any action for myself until that I realized I have to own the problem and the change began. So I took my courage to reconcile with my mom and also with my father later on. I had my first step to learn how they were brought up into their life without any prejudices, without any judgment to them. I was trying to be a person more acceptable and more lovable. And the first I discovered that I didn't have the capacity. I didn't have the ability to become the person who are lovable and who are more acceptable. That's because in my growing up process, I was not trained, and I didn't provide a very, very good environment that to secure my security and to allow me to learn many things from the relationship between my parents as a husband and wife, and also the relationship between my parent and us, the parent-child relationship, as well as we didn't see the uniqueness. We didn't see the uniqueness in us. The parents are more precious their job, their society, their interests, rather than they are more focused on us. So I always thought that I was not their child because they spend more time on their work than spending time for ourselves. So that was how I discovered that when I was a younger age and I went through all this. If this is all right, so why I had a lot of a feeling of insecurity. I have a lot of feelings of I try to control in my present time. Well, through some systematic learning process, then I return and also take my initiative and then to have the reconciliation with my moms and father. Knowing them had already helped me very much, that I realized that the prosecutor also wants the victim. Those who judge people, they also have been judged by others. And when the more that I learn about my parents, how they will grow up, how they were trained, educate as a person like they are, then I felt whatever they have given us, the education they are trying to give us, this is nothing wrong. It is just out from the best in their understanding in their life. But the truth is, I went through all the suffering. This is the truth. They are not purposely giving us those hurt. That also a truth. Then how do we to combine these two truths together and make our relationship better? And that involves a lot of constructive thinking. Then for us to bring this relationship from the very bad position into a more positive position. It took me some time to really process until today. I will say that the relationship between my mom, me and my mother, that we still have a great journey to go through, and then we still have a lot of a space and then to improve. But definitely that it has a big change between me, the younger age, and then the present me. And let me explain to you a little bit from one of the PowerPoint that I'm going to share with you, and then I will explain to you a little bit more through the PowerPoint that how that affect my family. I hope you all can see the PowerPoint.
Yes, I can see.
Yes, thank you. So this idea, when I share with all of you, it is not specifically just focused to one type of the people, but it is for all, because I'm speaking the family system in the how to say it, it is not just specific for one group of people, but it is for all. Family in unpeaceful and unreconciled mood considered as family system dysfunctional. I'm not saying the family has a problem. The family systems, either the family system come with function or dysfunction, they are also part of the family. So that is why we can see the orphanage, and they also come from a family, but just the system is dysfunctioning. And unpeaceful and unreconciled family mode, that we can consider that is the family system dysfunctional. I hope the definition for the talk that I'm going to give is based on this idea. So when we talk about unpeaceful, actually is also talking about the dysfunctional. And family system become chronically dysfunctional not because of bad people, but because of bad information rules, bad feedbacks in the form of bad rules of behavior. Well, what we are trying to talk is not talking about our parents. It's not, but we are talking about the rules and also about their behavior, how that will influence people. My father my father is the main cost for the family separation. He has quite number of the mistress in his life, and in one relationship with a mistress, that caused the separation between me and between him and my mother. So my family broke out, because of my father having love affairs with others. Because of the love affairs, we stop to call my father as a father. I don't want to recognize him as a father because he has been doing bad for us. Well, before I know how to distinguish that I love my father, but I will stand firm on what he's doing, that I have my own thought. I couldn't I couldn't make it separately. I confused myself. I try to accept. I Loving him means I'm trying to accept whatever he has done to us. So in myself, I couldn't really take what my father have done to us, and I still have to call him father, because my personality is very much um, collapsed, because I do not have a strong individualization, because I didn't know how to individualize myself from a person and also from a behavior. It took me about 10 years then to go back to my father and to know him. Then I admit that I feel so sorry to him that I still want to be his son. Before that, I always judge him, even I'm not speaking out, but I judge him in within, in my heart. I call him is a very, very bad father to me. But I also forgot, if he is a bad father, then I also a bad son for him. Because the more that I judge my father, the more that I judge my future. I am my I am my father's son. How would I say no to him if he didn't give birth to me? Well, he is no doubt a father, but I also admit whatever he has done to the family. Then we all have to learn about what is he doing is not forgivable, but who he is forgivable. I will repeat again. What my father has done to us is unforgivable, but who he is, my father, is forgivable. So we can learn and train ourselves to enhance, enlarge our feeling, to accept both. I love my father, as well as I also deny the information, the bad behaviors from his lifestyle. But he is my father. I love him. And to stand with this, that we need to have a very clear boundary in us. The individualized for individual is very important, so that we can separate the love from the women, because the men um, just a calling that for the human being in the world. Anyway, so a man looking for another woman, two of them, it is they are not connected, they are separate. So with this separating, they also share how they will understand about the role. So a man also a son of the family, and woman also daughter of the family. So they have both these two different roles into each other. So when a man and woman decide to come together, they marriage. So in between, you can see that the conjoined, this conjoined area, this this area is marriage. So with this marriage, then they will form they will form a lot of different relationship in a marriage. And then when they come to a stage to have a child, before they have a child, they are in marriage, they build up a coupleship, and then they have a new role called husband and wife. So with this, when they come to have a child, you will see the husband and wife with the marriage, they form the child, Then they have a father-child relationship and a mother-child relationship. But we have to focus on where is the family. The family is here. This is a family. Okay, so I enlarge it. Family. Family. In this tree, you see what is the background of the family, the circle. Where is this triangle located? The triangle located at this part. So what is the background of this part? What is the background of the family? It is marriage. So this is what we call family. Family in the children's side. And this one, and the family built up on the marriage. If the marriage is not healthy, even there is some family, they have the family outlook, but the marriage is dysfunction. There is a family, the parent is in the family, but they are not having peace into themselves. So with all this happen, then the family will become a place to generate chaos. The family is a place to generate chaos, not to generate peace. This begins from the marriage. If the marriage is functional, the children have a good chance of being fully functional. If the marriage component is dysfunctional, the family members are stressed and tend to adapt dysfunctional. When I had a chance to blame with my parents, when I was a younger age, I used to blame to my parents because that is how I learned from their marriage. They used to blame each other. My mom blamed my fathers in front of us, and my father speak about my mom about my mom from her back. And we all learn how to blame people. We all learn how to be the person who are more blameful. We already practice. We already attempt the dysfunctional action from the family, from our parents' marriage into our life. So if we are trying to see peace into this dysfunctional, then we have to do a lot of work. We have to do a lot of homework. The marriage in peace equal the family in peace. If I want to see my family in peace, the core for the family is marriage. And the marriage can two of the person who host the marriage, they are in peace with their relationship. So that is how an unpeaceful marriage builds an unpeaceful family. Family needs a sense of worth, a sense of physical security or productivity, a sense of intimacy and relatedness, a sense of unified structure, a sense of responsibility, a sense of challenge and stimulation, a sense of joy and affirmation, and a sense of a spiritual grounding. Well, if a husband and wife, they own all needs, they own all those words, physical security, productivity, intimacy, relatedness, and so on. If they already own this, they will create a sense of all these needs into the family. With these all needs, then the children grow with worth. The children grow with physical security. The children grows with productivities and responsibilities. The children will grow how to be intimate or how to see their relatedness, and so on. But if the parents didn't show up all these senses, and the children has no place to learn, the children will live into the situation into unpeaceful, and the children will create an unpeaceful world. A family needs a mother or father who are committed in a basically healthy relationship and who are secure enough to parent their children without contamination. What is the contamination? We have a lot of worship. We worship youth, we worship everything, but we are not worship growing. We are not worship learning. We have a lot of money, but we spend all the money to materialism. We don't really understand that we have been contaminated by all this belief. And I'm going to share with you one of the model that from Dr. Jeremy Bath Institute and University of Minnesota in United States. Dr. Bath's model on the 4 basic needs of social system, and the family can consider as a social system. In the family, the husband and wife with function that they will schedule, and they also will schedule their time to run for the 4 basic needs for the family system. The first one, husband or a wife, one of them will look after the productivities for the family. The productivity for the families can also show that the security and also to support the family into a good life or a secure life. And if the husband is the person, normally is a man, will take on the productivities responsibility, and the other one, the other half, they will look after the need for emotional maintenance. Those who stay and will maintain the emotion. So we have a saying is that those who control the emotion, he's the king of the family. And then we realize that the king is a queen. Anyone and can experience this, that we will see that mostly is the mother will stay at the home and maintain the emotion. So, and then in between if they have a relationship, the coupleship between themselves is a husband and wife. So if they can maintain the husband and wife relationship, then the needs for relationship will become more healthy. And the husband and wife, their relationship help to grow the productive and to grow more the production and also to maintain a good emotional. So with all these 3 joined together, they will create the sense or the atmosphere for the family become more unity. So the need for the unity also important. As we can see that if a child was born, then we have a new role. So the new role for the child, and they will be more on experience that the family, like the chart I share with you, the family is also the children, the child lay on the family, on the top of the family. So the children, they totally will experience all those 4 basic needs into themselves. The family who come with good productivity, good emotional maintenance, the children will live in a secure and also peaceful family. But if the husband and wife relationship is broken, and the children will definitely will experience the broken feeling related to their relationship. The broken relationship will not bring the unity, the sense of the unity for the family. And so if these 4 basic needs has been broken in a family, then we will not see peace in the family, then we will have a chaos in the family. So as my conclusion, I realized and also practice into my life that they conclude the 4 steps of reconciliation in the family. The step one is learn to understand that I am part of the problem. And the second one is, the second step is learn to confront to the problem, not to run away from the problem. And step three, learn to deal with the problem. And step four, learn to repeatedly exercise the above three steps in life. So with these four steps, that will lead us to the reconciliation process. A great Greek philosopher, Socrates, once said, "An unexamined life is not worth living." And I'm trying to conclude this with a saying, if I want to see peace in the world, I first see peace in my family. If I want to see peace in my family, and I first see peace in myself. And as I am, so is my family. If I am in peace, then my family in peace. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, teacher.
Much
Kak Mer?
the sharing. Yeah. Can you hear me? Thank you so much, teacher, for the sharing. Wow, it's a very powerful message, and I will try to conclude some important points in Bahasa Indonesia. Baik teman-teman, Teacher Nandor menceritakan bagaimana kehidupannya hingga bisa berubah. Dia berasal dari keluarga yang juga disfungsi, dan dia menemukan dua kebenaran. Yang pertama adalah orang tuanya memang tidak sengaja melukai dia di masa lalunya, dan kebenaran yang kedua, apa yang dilakukan orang tua itu memang membuatnya terluka. Jadi bagaimana menggabungkan kedua kebenaran ini untuk bisa dipahami? Ada satu poin tadi mengenai hubungan teacher dengan ayahnya yang dia katakan, yaitu apa yang dilakukan oleh ayahnya itu memang tidak bisa dimaafkan, tetapi siapa dia? Karena dia adalah ayah saya, maka dia bisa dimaafkan. Jadi perlu adanya latihan untuk belajar membedakan individu dari apa perbuatan-perbuatannya, dari apa yang dia lakukan. Nah, poin penting berikutnya yang bisa saya bagikan adalah keluarga yang disfungsi itu berasal dari pernikahan yang disfungsi. Sehingga pernikahan yang damai itu akan menyebabkan keluarga yang damai. Nah, ada kebutuhan keluarga yang perlu diperhatikan, yaitu 4 kebutuhan sistem keluarga, yaitu produktivitas, kestabilan emosi, relasi, dan kesatuan. Nah, orang tua perlu mengupayakan ini untuk menciptakan keluarga yang aman dan damai, sehingga nantinya dari keluarga yang damai akan menjadikan bangsa yang damai dan aman. Nah, ada 4 langkah yang terakhir yang disampaikan oleh teacher adalah, yang pertama, belajar untuk memahami bahwa saya adalah bagian dari masalah. Yang kedua, hadapi masalah itu, jangan lari. Kemudian yang ketiga, selesaikan masalah itu. Lalu yang keempat, ini adalah latihan sepanjang hidup, harus terus-menerus diulang-ulang. Saya kira itu saja. Thank you for teacher for the sharing. Now it's time for us to take a moment of silence to appreciate what has been shared by teacher. Okay. Thank you. I believe we have so many questions here, and it's time for a question and answer session. Please write your questions, and we have some questions already here. I have to check it first. Question number 1. Okay, before that, I want to check. Speakers, are you ready to answer the question?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So far, we have 3 questions here. Questions number 1 can be for teacher Nandor, Teh Nenden, or Baba Duha. The question is, what happen if I'm afraid to speak up my problem or my opinion? How to lessen this or how to solve this? That's the first question. And the second question is this one. The second question is for teacher Nandor. If family is the source of peace or war, is it means that people who likes to fight means that they have problem with their family, even though they are like a public figure? That's question number 2. Question number 3 for teacher Nandor also. How if I want to create peace, if my partner or my husband or my wife, it doesn't care? That's the questions. Okay, so far we will answer these 3 questions first, while teacher and Teh Nenden and Baba Duha answers. Everyone, if you have questions, feel free to ask in the comment box. Okay, for question number 1, please, is it Teh Nenden or Baba Duha or teacher?
The first question, I think, then you answer.
Okay. Okay, Guru. So the question is, I think from my experience, why we are afraid to speak up what we are think, what we are feel, what we want is because we are have a lack of appreciation and acknowledgement for our parents. Because like my experience, we are have the culture to disciplining, to make a discipline to the kid is to with the violence. Because in my case, if we are appreciate the children, that means it's not to aduh Kak Mer bahasa Inggrisin ya, it's not to make them be a good person, because they will be sombong. Okay, sombong. So our parents treat us is like object. Sorry to say, but it's real. It happened in our society. So when we are growing, we are afraid. We are not have a good confidence to speak up, to be the real us, to be express what we want, what we feel, what our thought. Gitu Kak Mer. Jadi kalau kita merasa takut menyampaikan pendapat, menyampaikan keinginan, itu karena kita tidak merasa berharga dan tidak percaya diri. Apa yang menyebabkan kita tidak mampu melakukan itu? Karena kita merasa diri kita adalah rendah diri. Karena orang tua kita lebih sering mengkritik daripada mengapresiasi. Dan itu pun yang didapatkan oleh orang tua kita. Terus gimana kita bisa berubah? Yang harus kita lakukan adalah yang pertama, menerima itu semua. Menjadi bagian daripada hidup kita. Mengiyahkan kalau kita diperlakukan tidak baik sama orang tua. Kemudian kita sebagai orang dewasa yang sekarang bisa tumbuh. Karena itu adalah masa lalu kita pun bisa membuat masa depan kita dan masa sekarang kita menjadi lebih baik. Kalau di sekolah rekonsiliasi itu ada latihannya, bagaimana kita menyembuhkan apa yang sudah menjadi luka kita, kemudian kita membentuk kepribadian kita yang baru sebagai orang dewasa yang baru, yang tidak terluka. Gitu. Jadi saya ada cerita sebetulnya dari semua ini. Jadi dulu saya masih kecil, Saya itu sekolah agama ya. Ini ceritanya kalau dulu saya nggak mau nyeritain, tapi dengan pertanyaan ini saya ingin menceritakan jawaban saya secara konkret dari pengalaman saya sendiri. Jadi di sekolah agama itu, di sekolah lah ya gitu. Saya itu kelas berapa? Kelas 1 SD, it's around 6 years. In the class, I want to go to toilet, but I cannot speak to the teacher because I'm afraid. Okay, because in the system of education we are also just the object. We have to follow all the instruction for the teacher. We not have time and space to express our from our side as a student gitu. So during the class I cannot speak, I want to go to toilet, and finally I got a pee in the class. I have two eyes. It's very traumatic, you know. From that experience, I learned I want to speak up whatever I want, whatever I feel, because I doesn't want to have the same experience like that. It's so shaming. So that's why when I'm becoming a teacher, becoming a facilitator, becoming a director now, I give a space to my staff, to my student to speak up, to be free, to express what you are feeling, what your is taught. Because we are the same. We are just human. Maybe we have a different level of responsibility, but we are just human. That is my answer, Kak Mer. Maybe I hopefully you can understand what I talk about. And thank you, Kak Mer.
So much, Tenenden, and thank you also for sharing your story with us. It's really inspires us to speak up, to speak up. Okay, thank you.
I would like to add a point. I hope I not misunderstand about the question that when we have some fear, and how do we handle the fear, and also how do we get rid of the fear. First, we must understand having fear is not a problem. Having fear is a very healthy pattern that in life, that we cannot deal with fear but by denying it. We cannot deny fear that happen in life. So there is a lot of different fears happen into our life that we do not know where it come from. So if we build up a system that or we can say that if our family build up a system that not to scare us about fears, is to encourage us to embrace fears.
Yes.
It's okay to feel fears in the family. Then we will have less ketakutan, less fears in our present life. Especially when we talk about, I have fears to go to a new place, I have fears to do my presentation, I have fears to do my marketing, there's a lot of life problems. That's because the fears is not allowed in our pastime. So
Yes.
by create a platform, create a place, create groups of people that we are not running away from the fears, but trying to embrace the fears, then we will create a different type of living, different type of living style. So that is why I think School of Reconciliation SR has been doing the thing in Indonesian society. Is trying to allow people to have a new type of embracing the different emotion. Fear is one thing, the other one is anger, and the other one is sadness. So when we all run away from all these emotion, we create problems in the society. So I hope I would like to add this point for the question one. I don't know how would Duha say.
Thank you, teacher. Baba Duha want to add something?
Thank you. Can you hear me? I want to add the first question.
Putus, Baba.
What if
Keresek-keresek. Atau Baba di chat aja Kak Mer kali pendapatnya di chat di tulisan.
Is it okay, Baba? Okay, we still have more questions. Baba, is it okay if you chat your answer and I will read it?
I think he's trying to go to some place which is more quiet and also more connected.
Okay, he said that we keep continue.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe we will proceed to the second questions for teacher. Should I repeat the question, teacher?
Yes, please.
The question is, if family is the source of peace and hostile, is it mean that people who like to fight is having a problem with their family, even though they are public figure?
Okay. This question, especially when we see public figure in and showing the bad behavior in the family, and I will have to say how to say, there is no standard pattern for us to show love in the family. Sometimes we show our hurt in the family, but the hurt can be explained as a kind of love. It is very contradictory. It's very contradictory to see love in the way of giving hurt. And this is mostly a lot of families has been practiced. So the source, if the source, if peace is the source of the family, and also the other way, we will say that it is all both come from the family. So we always talk about the family problems when we are not feeling secure, or when we are feeling so mean into the family. Then this means that we have a chance then to enhance and to climb up again, not become so small in the family. So having the love in the family and also the peace in the family, it is a very, how to say it is a topic that we have to give more time to understand it. I give it one example that I used to see how my grandparents, they fought with each other. Why they fought with each other? Because from the explanation, they love each other, but they love each other by throwing marks, throwing stuff, throwing everything to each other. They fought with each other, and then they maintain, through this fighting, they maintain their love. I once questioned my grandmother and said, if you are so much in love with grandpa, why you always fight with him? And my grandma said that you do not know how we treat each other. You do not know how much we love each other. I said, why? I didn't see you love him. I see you fight with him. And my grandmom kept saying that you do not know, you do not know. The answer for me, yes, I really don't know why they fight with each other in order to keep their love with each other. It's because I am not coming from their generation. My grandparents, they went through war, they went through a lot of difficulties in life. They know how much that the life is very difficult. They know how much that when they have a chance to come together, even they fight with each other, it still mean that you are still with me. It is only when you want to fight with one another, because I matter you, that I'm going to fight with you. So the day when my grandfather passed away, after uh, after everything, the funeral is set, then my grandmom sat in front of the place my grandfather expired. So she looked at the bed, and then she told me, she said, now there's no one can bear with my anger. It is only your grandfather know how to bear with my anger. And I think I'm going to miss him so much. So what she said to me, and I feel so shocked that I totally doesn't understand what is love into them. They have the pattern of love, but we do not. As a different generation, we do not know how to see the true love in them. So this is a process. In the question two, that if we see the peace in the families from our personal perspective, then we probably we won't see any peace in the family, because our parents will not live into the pattern that we expect them to live. They will just live based on how they were brought up in their past, not from our point of view, not from our perspective. So it is up to individuals from the family to identify whether their family is in peace or in chaos. So I think I will answer question two in this way.
Teacher,
Yes.
so we will proceed to the next questions. The next question says, how how if I want to create peace if my partner or my husband or my wife doesn't care?
Hmm. Well, this question always there's a lot of people asking this question. Then you have to first ask yourself why you want to change your partner. If your partner married you, or if you chose him or she he or she as your partner, this means that by some part that the partner should to you, and now you are and now the partner disqualified, and you have to ask yourself as why you want to change your partner. By still stick with your partner and ask him to change the pattern, ask him to change the behavior. So if your partner can be changed, the behavior can be changed, I think the partner will not, it will also change. It's not your partner anymore. So anyway, we always think about change. Uh, how about the other doesn't care? So if my personal change is one of the reason I changed myself, because I want my partner to be changed. And I will tell you that your personal change will never happen, because you come with condition. Changing oneself must come without any condition. Changing oneself is because I want to be a better person. If I make myself better, I deserve a better person to be my partner. If I make myself better, my partner will also be engaged. My partner will also be engaged, and my partner, by how to say, default setting, by automatically they will begin to have the change process. So when we talk about change oneself, it always engage other. But if the other doesn't want to come to be the change, we respect. And you also take your responsibility, the why you want to change the other. If we thought that we have the right to change other, we are very controllable. We control people. Or if we think that others can change us, we are under control. We become in the victim. We victimize ourselves. It's the same thing that if we don't think that others has a right to change us, why we have why we have thought that we want to change our partner. So if our partner doesn't care, it's not our problem. And that will not affect the way how we improve ourselves. The more I improve myself, the best I deserve to have. And I hope that to have a pure motivation for learning to be the change, you are not come to learn to change other, but you need to focus for yourself. So with this question number 3, but I don't know whether then whether add something or whatever, because I think this is also very a question that you receive so much in your teaching area.
Yes, teacher. So, Kak Mel, I want to add some point for the second question in bahasa, because I think the question is come from Indonesian. Jadi, kalau masalah disfungsi itu tidak memandang dia public figure atau bukan. Perilaku-perilaku tidak baik itu tidak memandang mereka public figure, tokoh agama, atau masyarakat biasa. Disfungsi family, keluarga yang tidak berfungsi dengan baik, keluarga yang tidak ideal, itu bisa terjadi pada siapapun. Dan saya dengan sangat gembira menyatakan bahwa iya, semuanya bermasalah berawal dari keluarga. Makanya keluarga itu bermasalah, yaitu karena dari personalnya juga yang bermasalah. Jadi kalau kita mau bikin perubahan, harus dimulai dari diri kita sendiri, seperti yang Teacher Nandor tadi bilang. Nyambung ke pertanyaan yang ketiga, jadi kalau pertanyaannya, kenapa kita ingin membuat pasangan kita berubah? Gitu. Kalaupun kita berubah bukan karena pasangan kita. Kita berubah karena kita diri sendiri ingin menjadi lebih baik. Gitu. Karena sesama orang dewasa tidak akan ada yang mau saling digurui. Saling di-teaching gitu. Apa yang harus kita lakukan adalah kita fokus pada perubahan dan pertumbuhan spiritual dan emosi dari diri kita sendiri sebagai individu. Kalau kita sudah banyak perubahan, kalau kita sudah banyak pembelajaran yang kemudian itu bisa membuat diri kita lebih baik, teacher said akan engage orang. Maksudnya itu juga akan menginspirasi orang lain untuk berubah. Makanya sekolah rekonsiliasi selalu menyatakan statementnya bahwa sekolah rekonsiliasi tidak untuk direkomendasikan untuk orang lain. Sekolah rekonsiliasi tidak untuk menyuruh orang untuk berubah. Tapi sekolah rekonsiliasi adalah tempat untuk kita bisa belajar, untuk kita bisa berubah, berfokus dan berawal dari diri kita sendiri. Dari apa yang kita lakukan, perubahan yang kita lakukan, perdamaian dan kebahagiaan yang dimulai dari diri kita, itu akan terpancar kepada orang lain. Baik kepada partner kita, pasangan kita, suami kita, anak kita, teman kerja kita, bos kita, komunitas kita, masyarakat kita. Mereka akan melihat perubahan itu dengan melihat bagaimana kita berubah. Mereka akan melihat kasih sayang dan perdamaian itu, bagaimana kita bisa memiliki perdamaian dan kebahagiaan dari diri kita. That's all, teacher, in bahasa.
Then, okay, next questions. I think the question is almost related with the questions number 2, but I will just read it. What happened? So if I have like a troubled child, so is it means that the problem is the quality of my marriage? So far, what we know is if there is any troubled children or child, it is like a testing for the parents. And also for some religious teacher, they said that if they have troubled children, it is like a testing for them. Is it like that, or please explain? And then for the next questions, it's also for teacher. So these two last question is for teacher Nandor. The last one, how the separation of forgivable individual and unforgivable action affects our action toward the person, for example, our father.
Okay,
Please.
I think the first one, uh, the first one, I hope I can still remember when the translation. Anyway, when the you said the meaning is that when you have a child, or like the bad child or difficult child,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a chance for us to by the religion saying that it's a chance for us to improve, isn't it?
Yeah, like a testing, like a examination for us.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Do, do,
teacher,
do,
I want to add. I
yes,
want to add because in our tradition, the the guru from our religion, especially Muslim, they ask, they said, if something happened with your children, it's testing for you
yes,
as a parent,
yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So
So
we try to change the children, not to change the parents.
correct. This is also happen in everywhere, not just in Indonesia. It happened everywhere. Um, so the pattern of the family in the teaching of religion is fine because what's wrong with this statement that if I have a problem in a family, if my children has a problem, that means this is a test for the parents. Well, but the parents, the focus from the parents, they messed up. They are not having the correct way to understand that the children has a problem. They understand children has a problem is a humiliate of the parents. So when you see the parents, when they bring a child outside to the society, outside to the shopping mall, and then the children behave very willful, and the parents will shout, and the parents will act that the children become willful is a kind of a shame. So the parents immediately show their parentness. They try to to teach the children at a public to show that I am a good parent. The testing from the statement is not it is not to say that well you are good parents or not. It is the saying that is for you to understand as a parent for a children. When a children has a problem, it's a reflection for the parents. Reflection. It reflects the parents doesn't have the ability, doesn't have the skill to solve the problem. Like I explained to you just now, with the four basic needs: productivities, emotions, maintain, relationships, and the unity. These four different senses that it needs in a family. With these four different senses was if these four different senses broken in a family, then the children will behave bad. Okay, I will explain again. If these four basic needs for the senses of the family has broken, children will act differently. Children will have a problem. And the first child normally will have irresponsible, and the second child normally will have very emotion, and the third child normally will have a lot of problems in relationship, and the fourth child, they will happen into very willful, very naughty, very playful. So by all this family system, it all can be found onto the learning process. Our parents didn't learn about this doesn't mean that we doesn't have a chance. We don't have a chance to learn. Our generation are different. We are very wildly wildly use the materials from YouTube, from all different social media. This is our benefit. in this generation, we can receive a lot of information through all different kind of the channel. So why don't we take this opportunity to understand that if I see my child has a problem that reflect that the four basic needs of my family has been broken. So with this, we will find a place, we'll find an entrance, and then to solve our problem, to understand what can we do for the sake to help our children to grow, but not just blame them, say that they are not the child, they have a problem. What Nenden say that our tradition always teach us that spoil the roads. You spare the road and then you spoil the children. This is what they say. If you keep like I think in Bahasa something like when you keep the rotan, if you keep the rotan and then you are spoiling your child, something like that. Um, yes, there's a lot of people believe on that, but a lot of parents they forgot they also came from the children. When they were a children, they forgot how their parents had treated them. So they will repeat the same pattern into their children when they have a children, and then to treat. And to have a chance, to have a platform to learn about this, we are not asking you to blame your parents, but to understand them. The problem from life cannot be solved, but only can be understood. We have to comprehensive it, understand why it happened. It is not about right and wrong. Our parents, what they have done to us is not about what right and wrong. It is all about appropriate or not. If it is inappropriate, then we need to, as an adult, we have a chance to correct it. So that is how we can fix ourselves, but not fixing other. If you point a finger with other, there are three more pointing back at yourself. So once you point a finger to others that you are the person need to change, well, I'm sorry, you'll find the wrong place. So the children is not the one to be blamed, but we have to see the system from the family, whether it's functional or not. So this is the first one. The question, the first part. And Mail, you can let me know. Yes.
How the separation of forgivable individual and unforgivable action affects our action toward the person. So these two truths that you explained before, how it affects your action toward the person, for example, your father. Like you know that he is forgivable father because he is, but what he has done is unforgivable. How these two truths affects your action towards the person.
Um, what with the example, I can see that. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me show you some action that my father when he first. I use my father as an example because I don't want you to misunderstood that I'm using others, but because I have been resolved the relationship between me and my father by confronting with him about his affairness. So I can talk about this because it is from my father's um, acceptance and also allowed by him. So when we talk about this, it doesn't mean that I'm trying to put my father down, but I am trying to value how my father's happen in with my father is very important to my life. What if my father didn't have this behavior in the family? I won't be sitting here and tell you about the story from here because everything will be changed. Everything will be unlike the same. So for me, it took me more than decades to understand how to forgive and why to forgive. First, my father did the first thing to us, to the family, is like he's using a to cut me. I hurt. So this is the scar here. I have a scar here, and it bleed, and I feel pain. So when they are first divorced, of course they only one divorce. When their first separation at that time, I feel so pain because it's like they are using knife to cut me here. And I stand for my mom, and I said, Dad is a bad guy because he separated us. And I told myself, I'm not going to forgive him. Because you see, I have a scar here, I have an injury here, and he cut me. Yes, he cut us. And then, very, very magically, it happened. When he removed the knife, when he removed, when he left, I discovered that the scar here slowly recovered. This is like when you injure yourself, you will see that the injury will recover by itself. So I see that I'm no longer carry the scar here, just a very, very light hurt, but I was very nervous. I said, no, if this scar disappear, my father will not see that how much he had hurt us. So you know what I have done? I use another knife to cut myself, to make myself, to make me to remember that my father had hurt us. And later on, it recovered again. I have to do it again and again and again and again until I have the scar here all the time. For me to remember that how my father had done a bad thing for us. So this is the first thing I discovered. It is not my father hurt us. My father hurt me once, but the scar, but the injury lay there because I don't want to let it go. And I make myself hurt again and again and again. And I realize I can't forgive my father. It's just a lie. It's because I cannot forgive myself. I am not trying to say that I have to forgive my father, but the first thing is because if I forgive my father, I feel so sorry to myself. Then I have to first understand I need to forgive the one that myself. I have to forgive that I don't want to forgive myself. Forgive that unforgivable. I don't want to forgive my father, but I first have to forgive I have this thought. Because when I carry I don't want to forgive my father, I hurt myself. Okay? So with this hurt, I put all this responsibility for my father's. You have to pay for that. And it is unfair to my father until then I discover the pain in me. My father did the initial one. The rest of the pain, I did it for myself. And I have to admit this. To be fair for my father, I was so sorry to him that my father carried most of the responsibility of myself on him. I repeat again. My father did the first time hurt me. In order to keep this hurt, I hurt myself many times. Then I first have to forgive myself to carry this hatred to him. And I first have to forgive myself in order to forgive my father. Forgive my unwilling to forgive my father is a first step on my forgiveness. And I hope maybe Nanda you can explain or maybe Rini can explain more about this.
Yes, I'll try. It's so emotional. I mean, it's a good point, teacher. Because jadi orang tua kita meskipun mereka melukai kita itu sekali aja. Tapi kadang kita melukai diri kita sendiri untuk membuktikan bahwa orang tua kita telah melakukan itu. Jadi kita merusak diri kita hanya ingin terlihat menderita dan ingin membuktikan bahwa penderitaan yang kita miliki adalah karena Allah, ibu dan bapak yang terhormat gitu. Padahal orang tua kita itu melakukannya hanya satu kali gitu loh. Jadi kalau kita sebagai orang dewasa, yang pertama harus kita lakukan adalah kita memaafkan diri kita sendiri karena kita sudah punya pemikiran untuk menyalahkan orang tua dan membuat mereka menderita dan membuktikan bahwa gua menderita karena lo gitu. Sehingga kita tidak akan pernah memaafkan orang tua kita karena kita terus-terusan menyakiti diri kita sendiri dan terus-terusan ingin membuktikan bahwa kita terluka. Jadi kalau kita luka nggak usah dibuktiin, lu benerin aja dengan sendirinya. Lu terima apa yang sudah lu punya dari luka itu. Kalau udah begitu, kita juga akan bisa memaafkan orang yang telah memberi luka itu kalau kita sudah memaafkan diri kita sendiri. Gitu, Kak Mer ya. Itu pertanyaannya anak bandel yang bermasalah itu kualitas pernikahannya ya katanya in bahasa. Jadi kalau anak bandel tadi teacher bilang ya harus jadi bukan apa tadi kan itu istilahnya testing ya Kak Mer. Itu kayaknya ujian. Kalau anak kita nakal itu ujian buat orang tuanya. Menurut saya kalimat yang tepat itu bukan ujian, tapi refleksi, introspeksi diri sebagai orang tua. Kita udah kenapa, apa yang kurang dari orang tua kita sehingga anak kita melakukan hal yang bandel, hal yang nakal, hal yang kayaknya pengen kita perhatikan gitu. So far kebanyakan anak-anak yang melakukan sesuatu yang sebenarnya tidak orang tua lakukan, yang pertama adalah karena orang tua terlalu mengontrol anak itu sendiri. Anak bukan lagi sesuatu yang dititipkan, tetapi kita orang tua merasa bahwa anak itu adalah milik kita, sehingga kita merasa punya hak dan kuasa secara penuh kepada anak kita. Lu mau apa juga harus nurut ke kita gitu, ke orang tua gitu. Kita tidak peduli bahwa apa yang anak kita rasakan, anak kita mau, anak kita ngapain itu kita nggak peduli. Sehingga anak ini ingin menunjukkan bahwa dia adalah individu yang berharga. Please liatin gue, kalau gue bikin masalah kayaknya lu ngasih naruh perhatian deh ke gue gitu. Jadi gue bikin masalah aja gitu. Kalau orang tuanya sudah bisa memenuhi kebutuhan keluarga yang 4 poin tadi, semuanya akan damai, semuanya akan baik-baik aja karena semuanya berfungsi dengan baik gitu teman-teman. Jadi daripada kita menyalahkan anak kita yang nakal, lebih baik kita berefleksi apa yang kurang dari kita sebagai orang tua. Karena bisa jadi kita mungkin sebel sama orang tua kita marah sama orang tua kita, tapi kita juga melakukan hal yang sama ke anak kita. Karena itu akan menjadi otomatis, karena kita belajar dari apa yang kita dapat, dari apa yang kita lihat. Waktu kita jadi anak, orang tua kita melakukan itu. Secara otomatis, ketika kita sudah jadi orang tua, kita juga melakukan hal yang sama. Meskipun otak kita tahu kalau itu enggak boleh. Tapi di alam bawah sadar kita, luka kita itu yang tadi teacher contohkan, terus membuat kita luka. Jadi kalau anak kita luka itu, kita akan nyalahin anak kita gitu, dan kita akan bilang, kamu tuh udah bikin mama marah, kamu tuh udah bikin papa marah, kamu tuh udah bikin papa kesel, jadi aku pukul kamu nak gitu. Jadi dibikin alasan seolah-olah anak kita yang salah, padahal kita sendiri seorang dewasa harusnya bisa melihat gitu. Kenapa anak kita melakukan itu? Kita lakukan refleksi dan harus melakukan perubahan dari sistem yang tidak ideal itu gitu teman-teman. Gitu Kak Mer.
Okay, thank you so much, teacher and Nenden and Baba Duham. Well, I think we have to close the session because our time is up. And before that, I think I need to conclude some points from the question and answer sessions. Number one, having fear is not a problem. We need to teach our children to embrace fear. When we learn to speak up, means that we appreciate ourselves more. And then the next point is we cannot change people, but the change should start from ourselves. So when I change myself, my partner, the people surrounds me will eventually engage in the changing itself. And then the next, point we got is if you find or if you have trouble, children, it means it's an alarm to check, to reflect, that understand what happened. Is it appropriate or inappropriate? Please check your family system needs. And then the last point that we get, we learned today about forgiveness, that sometimes or many times we hurt ourselves more than other hurt us. And what we need to do is we need to forgive ourselves first, forgive the unwilling to forgive others. By that, we can easily forgive others. Okay, I think that's the conclusion for the session today. And we are so thankful. Yes.
Bahasa, conclusion in bahasa.
Dan bahasa tadi sudah sangat disimpulkan oleh Tenen, dan makanya aku pikir nggak usah. Tapi tidak apa-apa, terima kasih. Yang pertama adalah memiliki rasa takut itu tidak masalah. Kita perlu mengajarkan anak-anak kita untuk merengkuh, untuk menerima rasa takut itu, untuk bagaimana menghadapi rasa takut itu. Sehingga ketika kita belajar untuk berbicara, menyampaikan pendapat, itu artinya kita mengapresiasi diri kita sendiri lebih. Kemudian kita tidak bisa merubah orang lain terlebih dahulu. Karena terlebih dahulu kita harus merubah diri kita. Ketika kita merubah diri kita, partner kita, pasangan kita, orang-orang sekitar kita, akhirnya akan terlibat di dalam perubahan itu sendiri. Dan kemudian ketika kita memiliki anak-anak yang bermasalah, atau kita melihat anak-anak yang bermasalah, itu adalah waktu untuk berefleksi. Melihat ini adalah cermin, ini adalah alarm. Apakah yang terjadi dalam keluarga kita itu tepat atau tidak tepat? Cek lagi kebutuhan di dalam sistem keluarga kita sudah terpenuhi atau belum. Kemudian yang terakhir, kita belajar sesuatu tentang mengampuni. Bahwa ternyata justru kitalah yang paling sering menyakiti diri kita dibandingkan rasa sakit yang diberikan orang lain di tempat yang sama. Sehingga kita perlu mengampuni diri kita, mengampuni ketidakmampuan kita untuk mengampuni orang lain. Kalau kita sudah mengampuni diri kita di bagian itu, maka akan lebih mudah mengampuni orang lain. Kira-kira seperti itu ya. Okay. We are so thankful for the great sharing today from each speakers and great questions from participants, from Zoom and from YouTube live streaming. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much Teh Nenden, Baba Duha, and also Teacher Nandor for your time, your sharing, your experience, your stories, and also everyone, thank you for being so attentive. Thank you for listening. And if you need to know more about Sekolah Rekonsiliasi, about family reconciliation, you can check our Instagram and YouTube, Sekolah Rekonsiliasi. You can ask many things there. We have our admin there, and we are so welcome you there. And I would like to invite all of you to come again tomorrow, because we still have few days to come and few interesting topics to come. Our topic tomorrow is about peace and conflict resolution. And of course, we have great speakers tomorrow. They are like researcher and those who activists who work in conflict and peace resolution for many years. And for sure, you don't want to miss the presentation tomorrow. So this is the end of our webinar today. Please remember to be the light and peace for the world. And of course, it should start from ourselves. Have a great day, everyone, and see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Thank you, Kamer. Thank you, Teacher Nandor.
Thank you.
It's a great work. Thank you, Baba Duha. Thank you, Hayati.
Jangan lupa sesi foto.
Thank you. Photo. Teacher, we have take a picture.
How?
Please, Fadlan.
Silakan ya, teman-teman.
I need to go. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, bye. I need to go. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Kamer. Thank you, teacher. Thank you, Fadlan. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Noni. Thank you, Fadlan. Are you there? Thank you.
Thank you semuanya yang nonton di live streaming. Thank you semuanya. Selamat.
Thank you semuanya, jamaah YouTube ya.
Sampai ketemu besok ya di day ketiga.
Ya. Besok ada Nurhuda Ismail, ada Rahmat Hidayat dari UGM, kemudian ada Gugu dari Nagaland. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.